Chapter 6458. At the same time, all the cavalry guards had made final preparations before evacuation. Luster handed a remote control to Charlie and said respectfully, "Mr. Wade, this is a detonator. Explosives are placed underground, in the factory, and in the office building. When you press the detonator, all the explosives will detonate at the same time. The remote control device of the wireless detonator looks like an outdoor satellite phone. It is as big as a mobile phone in the 1990s. There is an LCD screen in the middle and a vertical high-power antenna on the top, which is much larger than the antenna of an ordinary walkie-talkie." Luster told Charlie how to operate the detonator. After confirming that there were no problems with the unlocking and detonation process, he said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, please pay attention to safety." Joseph came to Charlie and said respectfully, "Master, I will go ahead with them. Please be careful." Charlie nodded and said, "Be sure to pay attention along the way. And don't leave any traces or clues." "I understand." A few minutes later, Joseph left Duke Mining with Rhea and a group of cavalry guards who held on to the end. Only Charlie was left in the entire mining facility. Charlie came to the mining area of Duke Mining, found a tower with the best view, and waited there with the remote control. Time passed by minute. At 11:45, a series of lights appeared at the end of the dark road in the distance. A convoy of more than a dozen vehicles was heading towards the main gate of Duke Mining. Charlie, who was lying on the fence, smiled slightly, watching the long-awaited convoy getting closer and closer. At this time, in front of the convoy, a Toyota Land Cruiser led the way, and Mingala Dong, the person in charge of more trade and the special envoy for Duke Mining, sat in the co-pilot. In addition to him and the driver, there were 3 people sitting in the back seat. These people were the backbone of more trade and Mingala's confidants. Seeing that they were not far from Duke Mining, Mingala said, "You guys, cheer up for a while. This time, Duke Mining is not only about Luster's group of cavalry guards, but also a gilded deputy from the governor's office. Perform well in front of the deputy, and don't let her be dissatisfied with you." Several people nodded immediately, and the driver said, "Don't worry, Special Envoy, we will definitely not let you down." "Yeah." Mingala hummed with satisfaction, then looked around and asked in some confusion, "Doesn't Duke Mining operate 24 hours a day? Why is the mining area in the dark and all stopped?" The driver hurriedly said, "Isn't there a major blood change tonight? It's normal to stop for a while. After sending this batch away, we have to wait for the next batch to be sent over. For various scheduling arrangements, it is definitely more convenient to stop work." "That's right." Mingala sighed and said, "The major blood change is indeed a bit cruel to these cavalry guards. I have been in contact with Luster for many years, and I have a good temper with this person. I feel bad about their change. Now I can only pray silently that it doesn't happen to us." A man in the back seat asked nervously, "Sir, will it happen to us?" "How should I know?" Mingala said helplessly, "For this kind of thing, they will tell me only if I need to cooperate with the execution. Otherwise I won't get any wind. If it really happens to us one day, we can only obey." The man said sadly, "My son is not even 1 year old yet. If it really happens to us, I may never see him again in this life." Mingala coughed twice and said, "Ahem, okay. There is no point in saying this nonsense. Just listen to the arrangements of the Lord. Before there is a clear order, cherish the days ahead." Several people nodded dejectedly. At this time, the first car had arrived at the gate of mining. Although Duke Mining was brightly lit at this time, there was no one guarding the gate. When the convoy came, no one came to verify the situation or open the door, which made Mingala a little confused. He frowned and looked at the brightly lit gate, muttering, "What's wrong with Luster? Could it be that he started to slack off when he knew he was going to be replaced?" After that, he took out his mobile phone and called him. At this moment, Charlie's eyes were fixed on the convoys that stopped one by one at the gate of Duke Mining. And his fingers had unlocked the detonator. He did not have anyone install explosives near the gate. So once detonated, it would not hurt the people in the convoy. Charlie intended to keep them alive so that they could pass the first-hand news to the right Army Governor's office and Victoria. In the Land Cruiser, Mingala frowned and murmured. Strange, not answering the phone. The assistant is still here. Could these guys have mutinied? Mutiny? The driver couldn't help but say, without an antidote. What's the point of mutiny? After the mutiny, they and their families will all die within a week without the Lord sending people to clear them out. That's right. Mingala kept sucking his teeth, making a tut-tut sound, muttering. What's going on? Just after he finished speaking, he lowered his head and suddenly felt that the front was as bright as day. Everyone subconsciously looked up and saw that a huge fire suddenly burst out from inside the mining. Mingala yelled subconsciously, "Oh my God! Back up quickly!" Before he finished speaking, the explosion and the blast wave came together. The huge blast wave directly overturned the wall of the mining, shaking all the vehicles violently, and even the front car glass was shattered by the blast wave. Mingala didn't care about the wounds on his face caused by the glass, and quickly pushed the door and got out of the car. Seeing that the entire Duke Mining had been engulfed in a sea of fire, he was shocked and stood there. At this time, the office building that was blown up collapsed in a sea of fire in an instant. Mingala quickly stretched out his hand to cover the debris flying in the distance, and shouted to the car, "Quick, export the video in the dashcam and send it to me. I will report to above now."